Hello guys, this is Sir Mars and you are watching Lectures ni Sir Mars. So sa video na ito, ang ating i-discuss ay tungkol sa wind loads at nakabase pa din po tayo sa NSCP 2015. Okay? So let's begin. So i-define muna natin ano ba yung wind loads. So wind loads are produced by the flow of wind around the structure. The magnitudes of wind loads that may act on a structure depend on the geographical location of the structure, obstructions in its surrounding terrain, such as nearby buildings, and the geometry and the vibrational characteristics of the structure itself. So again guys, yung magnitude ng wind loads ay nakadepende sa madaming mga considerations. So ika-consider natin dito yung geographical location ng ating structure, and nakadepende din tayo kung madaming obstruction sa surrounding terrain, and pati na din yung mga buildings ng mga katabi, okay? And pati na din guys yung ating topography ng ating site, okay? So, ang dami natin kailangan i-consider kapag nagko-compute tayo ng wind loads. Yung wind loads guys sa NSCP ay matatagpuan natin sa section 207. So, dito sa section 207, nandito lahat ng mga provisions regarding sa wind load. So, dito sa page 2-26, nandito yung ating general procedure para sa pag-compute ng ating wind loads. Section 207A, general requirements, we will use this to determine the parameters for determining wind loads on both MWFRS and CNC. So, these basic parameters are yung basic wind speed. So, kailangan muna natin kunin yung basic wind speed. Then, the wind directionality factor, that is the K sub D. Then, the exposure category. And then, the topographic factor, the K sub ZT. And then, the gust effect factor, that is the G. And then, enclosure classification and internal pressure coefficient or the GCPI. Okay? So, after natin makuha guys yung ating general requirements, itong ating mga parameters, dalawa yung ating pwedeng puntahan. So, pwede tayo mag-compute ng wind load sa MWFRS, which is eto sa my left, and or pwede tayong mag-compute ng wind load sa CNC. So, ano ba yung ibig sabihin guys ng MWFRS and ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng CNC? So, i-define natin siya guys, no? So, take note na kapag nasa MWFRS ka, no, pwede kang, depende sa inyong dinidesign, no, pwede kang pumunta sa section 207B, which is the directional procedure for buildings of all heights, or 207C, that is the envelope procedure for low-rise buildings, or 207D, which is the directional procedure for building appurtenances, roof overhangs, and parapets and other structures, or 207F, which is the wind tunnel procedure for any building or other structure. Kung CNC ka naman, pwede kang tumunta sa section 207E or section 207F. Okay, so ngayon ang tanong, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng MWFRS at ano naman yung ibig sabihin ng CNC? Okay, so i-define muna natin guys, ano ba yung MWFRS? So yung MWFRS, ang tawag natin doon is the Main Wind Force Resisting System. So ang definition galing sa NSCP 2015 is that yung MWFRS is an assemblage of structural members assigned to provide support and stability for the overall structure. The system generally receives wind loading from more than one surface. Okay? So, mamaya explain natin guys yung pagkakaiba niya sa components ng cladding. Yung components ng cladding naman, yung ating definition dito is that it refers to elements of the building envelope that do not qualify as part of the MWFRS. Ngayon, explain natin guys, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng main wind force resisting system? And kailan ba natin pipiliin yung wind loads para sa MWFRS? And kailan ba natin pipiliin yung wind loads para sa CNC? Take note guys, na kapag yung wind load natin ay tumama sa ating structure, yung una niyang matatamaan is yung external na surface ng ating building. Ang tawag sa external surface ng ating building, katulad na lamang ng for example, yung ating plaster, kung nagpa-tiles ka ng wall mo sa labas, edi yung tiles, yun yung ating unang matatamaan ng wind. Or kung yung inyong wall ay made of wood, sabihin natin plywood, yung inyong external na wall, edi yung external na wall na yun yung unang matatamaan ng building. So, ang tawag natin guys, sa pinaka-exterior na part ng ating building is the cladding. So, yung cladding na yun, since siya yung unang magre-receive ng wind load, then ipapasa naman ni cladding yung wind load na yun papunta sa component. So, ano ba yung component? So, for example, plywood, yung inyong external na wall, yung component natin is yung nag-hold sa plywood. Such as, for example, yung inyong frame, yung wood frame. di ba? So, yun yung components. So, kapag ka nag-design ka guys ng cladding at saka ng component, ang gagamitin mong wind load na computation is para sa CNC. Pero kapag ka nagde-design ka nung ating main structural members, yung gagamitin mo is yung MWFRS. Bakit? Kasi, take note na pagka-receive ni component ng wind load, ipapasa naman niya ito sa ating mga columns, sa beams, sa truss, ganun. So, ayun. So, ibig sabihin guys, no, itong mga parts na to, ito yung ang tawag natin dito is the main wind resisting system, no? Kasi, ito yung parang buto ng ating structure. Ayun, so kapag ka nasira any part of the main wind force resisting system, no, parang masisira na din yung inyong structure. So, kumbaga guys, ito yung pinaka haligi, no, ng ating structure. So, another example guys ng cladding is yung ating roofing material, no, kasi yun yung unang makaka-receive ng wind load. Pinapasa naman ng ating roofing yung kanyang load papunta sa purlins. So, yung purlins, ang tawag natin doon ay components. Tapos yung purlins, pinapasa naman niya yung kanyang load papunta sa trusses at ang truss is a part of the main wind force resisting system. So ayun na nga guys, no? So kailan ba natin pipiliin yung wind loads on the MWFRS and kailan ba natin pipiliin yung wind loads on the CNC? So take note, depende yan sa inyong dinidesign. So kung nagde-design ka ng cladding and components, then dito ka sa wind loads on the CNC. Pero kung nagde-design ka ng mga beams, ng mga columns, ng truss, then dito ka dapat sa wind loads on the MWFRS. So I hope nagkakaintindihan tayo guys, no? So depende yon sa kung ano yung ating dinidesign. Okay? So sa video na ito, ang aking i-discuss is the section 207B. Ito yon. That is the directional procedure for buildings of all heights. Bakit ito yung aking di-discuss guys? It's because ito ay general procedure sa mga buildings. So, ayun nga guys, no? So, itong section 207B natin ay directional procedure na applicable para sa buildings of all heights. Okay? So, puntahan natin guys yung ating procedure para sa section 207B. Okay, so dito guys sa page 2-63, so dito makikita natin yung table 207B.2-1. Ito ay steps to determine the MWFRS wind loads for enclosed, partially enclosed, and open buildings of all heights. So ito na nga guys, no, yung ating mga steps na gagawin, no, sa pag-compute ng ating wind loads. So una, we will determine the risk category of the building or other structure. So may nakalagay na din dyan kung saan natin yan makikita. And then step 2 is to determine the basic wind speed, yung V, that is for the applicable risk category. Then step 3, kukunin natin yung ating mga wind load parameters. Ito yung mga nandun sa general requirements kanina, nung sa general na procedure. Okay? So dito kukunin natin guys yung wind directionality factor, K sub D, yung exposure category, yung topographic factor, yung gust effect factor, yung enclosure classification, at saka internal pressure coefficient. Then step 4, we will determine the velocity pressure exposure coefficient, that is K sub Z or K sub H. Then step 5, we will determine the velocity pressure Q sub Z or Q sub H. And step 6, we will determine the external pressure coefficient, C sub P or C sub N. And then last, we will calculate the wind pressure on each building surface. Okay? So ayun na nga guys, no? So gagawin natin itong mga steps na to para sa pag-compute ng ating wind loads. Okay, so sinulat ko na din dito guys, no, sa yung ating mga steps kasi ito yung ating gagamitin mamaya kapag ka magso-solve na tayo. So again, steps 1 to 5, tapos nandito sa kabila yung step 6 and 7. Okay? So ang gawin natin guys ay mag-solve tayo ng problem, and habang nagso-solve tayo ng problem ay pupuntahan natin yung mga sections ng NSCP na kailangan natin sa pag-compute ng wind loads. Okay? So, ito yung ating problem na isosolve. The enclosed building shown in the figure is used for storage purposes and is located in Tacloban City, Leyte, on an open flat terrain. When the wind is directed as shown, determine the design wind pressures acting on the roof and sides of the building using the NSCP 2015 specifications. The frame-to-frame distance is 11.5 meters. So, ayun guys, no? So, explain lamang natin yung ating problem dito. So, meron daw tayong enclosed na building. Itong building na ito is for storage purposes. Ibig sabihin, ito ay bodega. Okay? So, ngayon, ito nga ay located daw at Tacloban City, Leyte. Tapos, yung area na yon ay open flat terrain. So, kakonsider natin yan mamaya, no? Tapos, ang sabi dito guys, no, yung ating wind is directed in this direction. Ibig sabihin, from this direction, tatama dito yung wind. So, unang matatamaan is itong wall na ito. So, ayun. Tapos, bali guys, ang kailangan natin dito is makuha yung ating mga design wind pressures na mag-a-act sa ating sides ng building, sa wall, and sa ating roof. Okay? So, ayun, frame to frame distance natin is 11.5 meters. Okay, so isolve natin guys itong problem na ito. Okay, so ayun na nga guys, no? So, yung ating problem ay ito na nga. So, una natin gagawin is we need to determine the risk category. So, ang pupuntahan natin guys is yung table 103-1 ng NSCP 2015. So, take note, no, bago natin puntahan guys yung table 103-1, take note na ito ay bodega. This building is for storage purposes. Okay? So, puntahan natin guys. Okay, so ayun, so nandito na tayo guys sa ating table 103-1. So, what we need to do is kailangan nating i-categorize yung ating occupancy. Okay, so ito yung ating risk category na kailangan gawin, no, sa pag-compute ng ating wind loads. Okay, so explain lamang natin guys yung ating mga occupancy category. So, meron tayo ditong 5 occupancy category. And yung first na occupancy category, which is the occupancy category 1, ay essential facilities. So, itong mga facilities na nandito guys are mga structures na kailangan nakatayo, no, during mga calamities. No? Kasi sila yung magre-responde sa mga emergencies. So, for example, yung surgery and emergency treatment areas, yung fire and police stations, yung garage, shelter for emergency vehicles, no, and emergency aircraft, yung structures and shelters in emergency preparedness centers, evasion control towers, yung mga yan guys, no, kasama na dito yung public school buildings kasi ginagamit natin yung public school buildings for evacuation center. Yung hospitals, kailangan natin yun, no, kasi maaaring madami yung sugatan, kailangan essential facility siya. Designated evacuation center, kasi of course, doon lilikas yung ating mga kailangang lumikas. And then power and communication transmission lines, kailangan din yun. Okay, so this all are essential facilities. Okay, so ang tanong, yung bodega ba ay kasali sa essential facilities? That is not essential facilities. Okay, so bali guys, no, punta tayo sa second. And ang second natin na occupancy category ay hazardous facilities. Itingnan muna natin yung kanyang definition. So ito nga daw hazardous facilities are occupancies and structures housing or supporting toxic or explosive chemicals or substances. Non-building structures storing, supporting, or containing quantities of toxic or explosive substances. Okay, so ang tanong, sa atin bang problem which is the storage na building, yung bodega, ay hazardous ba yung facility na ito? Hindi naman sinabi sa problem na yung kanyang iso-store ay mga toxic and explosive chemicals. So, hindi tayo pwede mag-assume na ganun. So, we will not classify that as a hazardous facility. So, dito tayo sa third na occupancy category, which is the special occupancy category. Okay, so tingnan muna natin yung kanyang mga definitions. Buildings with an assembly room with an occupant capacity of 1,000 or more. Educational buildings such as museums, libraries, auditorium with a capacity of 300 or more occupants. Buildings used for college or adult education with a capacity of 500 or more occupants. Institutional buildings with 50 or more incapacitated patients but not included in Category 1. Mental hospitals, sanitarium, jails, prisons, and other buildings where personal liberties of inmates are similarly restrained. Churches, mosques, and other religion facilities. All structures with an occupancy of 5,000 or more persons, and structures and equipment in power generating stations and other public utility facilities not included in Category 1, 2, and required for continued operation. Okay, so ang ibig sabihin lamang guys, itong occupancy category 3 natin, ito yung mga structures na kayang mag-hold ng madaming tao. So, ito yung mga structures na during calamities, for example, during bagyo, lindol, mga ganun, ito yung madami yung mamamatay kung sakaling gumuho yung structure. So, ayun. So ang tanong, yung bodega ba ay special occupancy structure? And the answer is no. Hindi siya special occupancy kasi hindi naman siya mag-hold ng madaming tao kasi nga bodega to, this is for storage purposes. So, next, dalawa na lang yung ating choice. It's either miscellaneous structure, that is Category 5, or standard occupancy structure. Unahin muna natin guys yung miscellaneous structure. So yung miscellaneous structure, yung mga examples na nandito are private garage, carports, sheds and fences over 1.5 meters high. Of course, hindi naman doon mabibilong yung ating bodega. So, automatically, dito tayo magpo-fall kay standard occupancy structure. So, yung ating risk category ay standard occupancy structure. Okay, so isulat natin dito guys, yung ating risk category ay occupancy category 4 and this is standard occupancy structure. So, ayun. So, next na kailangan nating kunin is yung basic wind speed. Okay, so, bali guys, no, yung basic wind speed ay makukuha natin doon sa figure 207A.5-1A, B, or C. So, take note guys na yung ating basic wind speed ay nakadepende sa ating risk category. So, puntahan natin guys sa NSCP yung ating basic wind speed. So, basahin muna natin to guys. So, dito sa may section 207A.5 that is entitled Wind Hazard Map. So, under sa kanya is itong 207A.5.1 which is the basic wind speed. So, according here, the basic wind speed V used in the determination of the design wind loads on buildings and other structures shall be determined from figure 207A.5-1 as follows. So, ang gagawin natin guys is kung ano yung ating category, occupancy category, dun tayo pupunta sa figure. So, ang sabi dito, for occupancy category 3, 4, and 5 buildings and other structures, use figure 207A.5-1A. So, dyan tayo pupunta guys kasi nga yung ating occupancy category ay 4. Pero kung category 2 tayo, dito tayo pupunta sa figure 207A.5-1B. Kung category 1 tayo, doon tayo sa may C pupunta. Okay, so again, since category 4 tayo, doon tayo kay A pupunta. Figure 207A.5-1A. Okay, so nandito na tayo guys sa figure 207A.5-1A. So dito natin makikita yung ating mga basic wind speeds for occupancy category 3, 4, and 5 buildings and other structures. Okay, so ang gagawin lamang natin guys is hahanapin natin dito sa mapa ng Pilipinas yung ating location ng site. And then, may mga number tayong nakikita dyan. And kung ano yung number na makikita natin sa site location natin, yun na yung ating gagamitin na basic wind speed, yung V. Okay? So, ayun. So, bali guys, no, ang ating location, site location is in Tacloban City. And yung Tacloban City is located dito, somewhere dito. And ang nakikita nating numero dito guys ay 290. I hope nakikita nyo din yan. So 290 guys yung ating basic wind speed and that is in kilometers per hour. Okay, so ayun na nga guys, no? So gamitin natin yung 290 kilometers per hour as the basic wind speed. Okay, so bali guys, no? So ang pagkakaintindi ko dito sa basic wind speed is kapag ka umabot na dito yung ating hangin, kaya pa siyang i-resist ng ating structure. Okay? So, yun na yung ating gagamitin sa pagde-design, sa pag-compute ng ating design wind loads. Okay? So, ilagay natin dito guys, the basic wind speed natin is 290 and this is in kilometers per hour. Okay, so kailangan natin guys i-convert itong basic wind speed natin from kilometers per hour to meters per second. Bakit? Kasi later on, pag napunta na tayo sa step 5 and 6, no, and 7, kailanganin natin nung basic wind speed na naka-meters per second. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, we will just convert this now para tuloy-tuloy na tayo mamaya. Okay? So, madali lang naman guys i-convert yung kilometers per hour to meters per second. Ang gagawin lamang natin is i-divide natin ng 3.6 yung ating speed. So 290 divided by 3.6, ito ay magiging 80.56. So yung ating meters per second na value is 80.56 meters per second. Okay? So yun na nga guys, no? So na-convert na natin yung ating basic wind speed from kilometers per hour to meters per second. Okay, so next, we will get the wind load parameters. Gagawin natin guys ito sa susunod na video. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye-bye.